What do you say to landlords, agents, the sector out there? How should they be preparing for this without actually, going into knee-jerk reactions and making the wrong decision for themselves and for their tenants and for the industry in general? So what advice have you got to weather this period of uncertainty?
And tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I think if you're a decent landlord with legally and safely let properties, if you're a decent agent that lets legally and safely let properties, you have nothing to fear. The only issue is, and I'm fairly confident they'll solve it because it will be a disaster otherwise, is the issue for the student market. I think if they can solve that, then actually the majority of landlords and agents don't have to worry. I do think the biggest problem they've got is going to be the rise in homelessness, and that's the biggest issue. And I'm not sure that the government or anybody has quite understood that if somebody's evicted with a Section 21, which I had to do because not hard drugs, it was weed, that's what my tenant was doing, and that was causing problem for others. So we issued a Section 21, single mum, rehoused by the council. My understanding under the new rules, I'll have to blame her for that, and as a result, she won't get homed. So that's kind of the
unforeseen consequence.
It's not unforeseen because we've told them about it till they're blue in the face. It's just that nobody's given me an answer.
No.
So that I think is, I think that nobody needs to worry if you're doing a good job now. Apart from the student bit, I think that they will solve that. We already know places like Edinburgh, York, is it Liverpool, I think, as well. They can't guarantee student places now. We'll get accommodation, which is what you always had. So I think that student thing will have to be solved because otherwise that will be a big problem. And once that's done, I actually think most people don't need to worry. Yeah. Because, there's new ways of putting up rent increases, but we know actually the one thing that landlords are really bad at is doing rent increases. So now they're going to be even worse at it because they're going to have to put a piece of paper through. My understanding is they have to put Section 13 or something like that. So things will be a little bit more complicated. And I think the other thing is you must reference absolute tenant to the hilt, because if you don't, they will be able to take advantage of you even more than the clever tenants who know the rules can now.
And ironically, referencing for tenants is beneficial to the tenant because it builds up their credit history.
Yes, of course.
And, I've always advocated that, it should almost be mandatory that you're entitled to a reference both as a landlord and as a tenant.
Yes, and hopefully with things like the Skipton Building Society's new mortgage, that's where you can borrow this, where you can, as long as you can prove you've been paying your rent for 12 months or more, you can actually then apply for a mortgage without a deposit. So that referencing and any credit pluses that you get, that could actually help you on the ladder as well. So I think that could be a really good thing. But I think for me, that is the biggest thing that you need to worry about. Fix the student market. And good landlords, agents have very little to fear, apart from what are you going to do when you will get, I reckon it's 1 out of 5 tenancies will go bad. How are you going to protect yourself against that?
Well, my advice to everybody out there is this is not going to happen overnight, but it is coming. And as we go along the journey, we will get more and more information. So stay up to date, which is really, really important.